Linwood-Central-Heathcote. Jake, thank you for your patience and waiting so long with us this morning.
It's okay.
Or this afternoon as it is now. Over to you to present the report from your community board. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. We've got a recommendation here, which is that council submit to the ECAN long-term plan, particularly noting our concern around the reduction of services and the increase in fares. However, I understand you're planning on doing that anyway, so I'm not sure how you kind of want to tackle that recommendation. I remember when I first moved to Christchurch, you know, the fact that Christchurch had one of the best bus systems in the country was a real sense of pride. So I'm sure our community board are going to have more to say on this and really want to feed into your submission as well. Three things I just wanted to highlight from the report are the Linwood Pool consultation. So we've had 2 workshops about this, and we've just signed off on the first consultation document. The PowerPoint's not going to line up to anything I'm saying. So we've had 2 workshops. We've approved the consultation document. This has been picked up by the press, and the public response has been positive, as you'd expect. The Linwood Village ReGEM timeline is in the report, and this is a 1-year-long consultation. We're moving out of phase 1, we're moving into phase 2, which is to set up a governance group and to identify some early quick wins as well as the substantive issues. One other thing I'd really like to draw your attention to in this report is the research about Māori who are living as homeless or living in inadequate housing in the area. This research needs to be a part of any future plans around regeneration in this part of town, and is also part of any future housing first plans that the council has going forward. It almost reads to me that research in particular is so like a final order type approach is what's required for addressing housing in this part of town. And that's it.
Great, thank you, Jake. Just referring to your comments on the ECAN submission and your request that we submit on the Environment Canterbury long-term plan. We've had some informal discussions about that just in the last few days, and there is a view that we should submit to Environment Canterbury on the long-term plan, and we will be doing that. The matters that you raise in this resolution are matters that will form part of that submission. Informally, there are a group of councillors who will be working on that submission, which will then come back to council, as I understand it, on the 22nd of March for a formal approval by council to go ahead as a submission. Of course, the community board have 2 roles, one of which is lifting matters up so that we can include them in submissions, and I understand a process is underway for the community board to provide local input into that submission that we as a council will be making to ECAN, so do take the opportunity to do that. And as boards, you're very aware of the local issues and the proposals in the draft ECAN LTP that will affect your communities. It may well be that we will simply lift pieces out of what you would naturally put in your submission to ECAN and include them in our own submission. We're certainly keen for that level of input to be very apparent locally in our own submission, and we talked about that informally earlier in the week. And of course, the other role that boards have got is encouraging community members and community groups within your communities to submit not only to the ECAN plan and not only on the bus routes issue, but to our own long-term plan, of course, as well, when we're open for submissions. So I think there's a dual role the community board can play to raise awareness of issues that you've obviously become aware will be affecting your communities.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
Great. Thank you. So now moving to questions. Pauline, Dion, and then Vicky. So Pauline.
All right, thank you. And just clarifying that ECAN is very, very keen for us to make a submission. They've said that repeatedly, so it'll be good. Just on 6.6, where you talk about the Linwood Community Pool. So obviously that's a school pool. Yes, it is. So has your board ever thought about perhaps covering that pool and heating it instead of building a whole new one and saving possibly $20 million? Has that ever been discussed? Or
can I respond to that one? Sorry,
asking the chair.
Not to my knowledge.
So the past community board started the funding for this pool, and the pools are like those, I don't know how, I don't have the technical language, but they look like a bucket. They're
out of the ground.
They're out of the ground, and they're not suitable for people who are probably over the age of 12. They're quite small and they sit side by side. So the pools never really been upgraded because the schools in the 8 local schools have been pushing for a pool to be a pool and a wider facility to be developed in the area that they could all bring the children to. So I guess they've all been waiting for that pool to come. So that
and any debate on that as a substantive issue would form part of the long-term plan debate anyway.
Yeah, but that's answered my question. Thank
Indeed. Thank you. Okay, so Dion.
I was just going to make an extra comment. Just the temporary alcohol ban in Linwood Village, as well as actually speaking to a number of the businesses there, the supermarket and stuff, has had quite a good impact on some of the behaviours that were happening due to the alcohol there. So, and it's actually also sort of subsided some of the synthetic issue that was in the village from what I'm hearing as well. But there's still some issues that need to be addressed long term. But it's good that that's in the report as well. I
have heard that there's been a positive reaction as well, whether that's because of the ban or whether some of that start work was happening.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of other work going on as well, but the ban I think has, from what I'm hearing, has had some impact, and it's good that the Māori stuff is there as well, because that's, if you do get a chance everybody to read that, it's really important research.
Yep. Indeed. Thank you. Vicky?
I'd like to read the research on the homelessness that was done. Could we just give you
the full report? We can get
the full report, yes. Yeah. Thank
you. If that can be circulated around all councillors, that would be excellent. Thank you. Phil?
My questions are related to that too, Jake, and it's like, given the involvement that this research that your board too have had in this area, and who you call Māori living hard, I'm just wondering, especially because in fact the Social Community Development and Housing Committee are going to be doing more work around how we support that. Just wondered if there might be able to be a representative from your board come and talk with us as a committee too. Just I'm not asking you per se, but I mean it would be good to. What I'm saying, it would be nice if there was a board member come and be part of those discussions.
Perfect. I'm sure we could. That'd be great.
I'm sure if the chair wanted to make an invitation, the board would respond.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Of course we would.
Great. Yanni.
Thank you. Did the board have any maintenance issues that were raised?
As part of?
The 2 board reports? It's just something that doesn't seem to have come through in your presentation was the concern, around the maintenance.
Do you mean in meetings over the past month, or?
Yeah, the ones that we're reporting on today.
Why don't you ask them what they are that you were supposed to raise? Jeez, just tell us.
I think what was reported, what was included in this was what board members asked us to include. So when staff came to the last board meeting, we asked what would you want us to communicate through the board report, and the maintenance issues weren't raised as something that you wanted us to communicate.
Okay, well, okay. I just think it's a bit of a shame, but I think the key thing, just to let councillors know, that the board did pass a resolution asking for the development of a Lower Heathcote River Master Linear Plan, and councillors will have seen the good work that we heard earlier this morning about the harbour catchment. We've also got a vision and values document, and there's also an excellent Mid-Heathcote River Master Linear Plan as well. So the board was really keen to get a Lower Heathcote River plan in place, particularly because there's a huge amount of work happening now with the land drainage in that stretch, but there's no kind of plan to integrate the work. And also the other point is that hasn't come through, but I think should be raised, is that the board has been inundated with concerns over the maintenance, particularly from Sumner, but also along some of the river stretches as well. So we've asked for a report back on that.
All right, thank you for providing that update. Yeah. Great. Okay, so we've got a resolution to receive the report and to submit on the Environment Canterbury Long-Term Plan, which is already a process which is underway. Do I have a mover for the resolutions? Sarah, seconded. Dion, all those in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.